Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. John here. It's time to start building our dream. So today we're going to continue another project on Ruby. So we installed the AUXBEAM bull bar and winch last time, and this time we're going to move to electrical because I want to put some driving lights on the front of Ruby, and I don't have an auxiliary switch on the Rubicon. Yes, I could splice into where the fog lights are, but where the fog lights are located, I don't want to accidentally turn them on because the lights I have coming are just like the ones on Big Red, and they're 185 watt. And we'll do an install video for you once the lights arrive. But I want to at least get a switch panel for auxiliary switches installed today. This just arrived today from Amazon, and we are going to open it up. Now this is the AUXBEAM 8-circuit switch, and Amazon sells a lot of these, and this thing is nice. So shout out to Ozark Overland Adventures. Matt and his wife, they did not send me this, but he did a good wiring and he did a really good job to show you how to route it. So I'm going to try to do the exact same thing. He showed me I'm already going to have to fold down my windscreen. I'm going to mount it the same place he did. And it's not to copy him, but you know, he's already done the work. So I can learn from his lessons and I don't have to make the same mistakes. That's always a good thing. So inside the box here, you get a nice little brochure. Got it. You get a fuse box, a relay, and a whole bunch of pieces. So I intend to actually mount mine exact same location up above the visor, and we'll get this thing wired up. So inside the box you get a bracket, you get a nice little control box right here. It should be weather resistant. We'll mount it underneath the hood, and that way you can just run all your switches. It's got extra fuses in there. It's got some 30 amp, 20 amp, 10 amp, 5 amps, and depending on what the lights require, we'll run them to this. And I had originally wanted to do something like this on Big Red. Instead, I installed a switch panel. It's got all kinds of hardware. You have these two, which just run from the controller to the box down here on the engine bay. You have a fusible link, which we'll have to install, as well as this little kit. Now, I don't know every single button I'm going to use, so we will take and we will put the stickers on here, and we'll probably start up here with this one. In the truck, I actually left some blanks. The first 3 switches, you know, you got, I figure rear, front, and then air compressor. And that way it would be easy. And then I didn't have my lights mounted until the 4th one. And then I had my cab lights mounted over here. So I've got a 6-gang switch panel on that one. It's a mechanical switch panel. But this AUXBEAM has a good reputation, and we're going to try it out. You get some more brackets in here and some more brackets, wire ties. So this will be a fun little project. So we're going to throw this all back in the box, and this stuff's tiny, man. YouTube does not do it justice with how compact everything is, because I looked under my hood and it is tiny. It is absolutely tiny inside the Gladiator with how cramped everything is in the engine bay. But we're going to go ahead and get this project started. So if you would, be so kind as to smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and come along with us. Alright guys, so here's the AUXBEAM bull bar installed with the winch. That's the good news. Bad news is, pan you guys over here, the box from the lights, completely crushed. That open it up, they don't match the ones on Big Red, so those will be going back to Amazon. So we're going to continue with our wiring, and it's probably going to be after the new year until I actually get the lights, unfortunately. But that's just how it goes. So let's get this party started. Alright guys, so we're going to start disassembly. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to pop the hood, we're going to have to remove this panel, and we're going to have to fold the windshield forward. So we are going to have to run the wiring from the battery around here across the rocker panel. We'll have to pop this off, fold the windshield forward, and we are going to mount it up here at the top. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do, come over here to the side. We're going to go ahead and pop this panel here off. 4-bolt T40. It's a lot faster than the One that comes with the Jeep. Two small ones on the outside, and this should just pop right off. All right, there we go. Jeep's not really white, I guess it's black. So there will be 4 bolts we have to take loose inside the cab. Hopefully these are the same size. So they're up in there, and they are the same size, so take that one loose. You guys probably can't see it very well. Put those up there. Don't know if I gotta pop the freedom tops or not. We'll find out here shortly. Nope, gotta chase the bolt. All right, we do need to remove the freedom top. So, put the tops off real quick. Alright guys, lesson number 1. Pop these loose, pull your windshield wipers all the way off. Don't try to shortchange this by just angling your windshield down. And we can. Alright, so that'll give us access here to the windshield. Alright, so first thing we're going to do here is we're going to disconnect our battery kill switch here, which we connected up the other day. Get that up out of the way. So here you've got some bolts on the side. I used the one that was closest to the front of the engine. Alright guys, so we got number 3 Phillips here. We got to make sure these 2 are cleared. I'm just going to crank this down a little bit. Come over here to the other side. Crank this side down. Okay. There's that. Now this can go in here. The reason we left this loose so we could take zip tie this off to it as well. So lesson number 2 when you're mounting this is you're actually going to need a spacer. What I ended up using was a nut to space the bracket out from the firewall, because there are not 2 bolts that you can run it through. Just as Matt said in his video, this was designed for a JK, not quite updated yet for the JL or the Gladiator, but still a good kit. Try this little stubby gear wrench. So while I ratchet this down, if you look closely between the fender wall and the bracket, there is a nut down in there, and that was just to use this as a spacer in order to wedge this into place and crank it down. All right, there's that. Our battery's got space, so we can come up this back corner for anything we need to run. Then for this, stick these wires back down in the battery tray. Now we've got that run, we can start actually wiring it. So our 2 clips will come in there, they'll go down through there, run along the front apron where this channel is. We'll slide them through here. I don't think we can fit them in there. We might be able to fit them in there. For this wire, we'll come up from the bottom, bring that in for our controller, and see if we can zip these nuts off here. So you could easily zip tie this to the main wire channel that runs across the top of the Jeep. But what I decided to do is actually disconnect the bolts that hold that channel closed and run it through the loops. You could wire tie it just as easily. It's your preference. Now when you do remove these little nuts, that metal in there is really sharp, so be careful. up, you know what? We will just do like many others have probably done before. We'll run this back around. Run that through there. Alright guys, so we've got our wire run from basically our little connector here. We actually ran it through this little cover. So these little 10 millimeters come off. You gotta fight with it, but you can get the cable to go through there, or you can just zip tie it. Zip tying it would by far be a lot easier. And then we're just gonna put those back on. We left a pigtail coming through the side. So the wire comes all the way through here. Ran it through the foam next to this wire right here, through the hole. Comes around here, it's hard to see, and up through the windshield frame up here. Tucked it all in, and pigtail hangs out right there. You guys probably cannot see it. All right guys, so we've got our fuse tapped here, and the fuse number for the heated seats, which is F57 here, 58 or 57, you could probably use one of those two. This is a micro 2, and we have to get our wire from here over to there. So all we did is we ran our red wire, and then we hooked it into our fuse tap, and we crimped the connection and made our connection. Closed up the box, and now we're getting ready to install our circuit breaker. So from here you just pretty much follow the instructions that come with the kit. I've not attached anything to the battery yet, so that will be the last connection I make, but I'm just pre-running all my wires. The red wire goes on one of the poles and the black wire goes on the other. I'm not going to belabor the point. If you're going to hook up your circuit breaker, make sure you do it exactly as the diagram shows. As we do the final assembly on the AUXBEAM, so we know what do we know? Well, we know we're going to do front fog lights, so, or a front light. So we're going to go ahead and stick the sticker on here for that. So one thing to consider whenever you do this project is what are you going to add now and what are you going to add later. So there are a couple blanks, and you'll notice my controller mostly gets blacked out, and that's just to keep you from getting blinded at night. And I used some mounting tape, and I prepped the bracket, mounted inside, and then we took it out to the Jeep and we installed it. But I've got a lesson for you on that one too. So the other thing I like about the AUXBEAM is you can mount it just about anywhere in the cab you want. You can mount it on the dash, you can mount it down by your knee. I chose to mount it overhead because of convenience, and I think it will be pretty handy there. I used some double-sided tape and I screwed it in. However, I've got something else to show you because I was a bit of a knucklehead and wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, and you know, I kind of cheated, took a shortcut. I did not fully drop the window, so watch this. Alright guys, just to share with you something. So there is a wiring harness up in here that I accidentally drilled through, and my passenger airbag light was on, and so we're going to tape this back up. But I drilled through a wire and shorted out like a knucklehead. I wasn't even thinking. So I took the windshield all the way down the right way, and don't do the same mistake as me. So if you do this, drop your windshield and then make sure this wiring loom is all the way out of the way. So as you can see, I had to patch a number of wires. This small little green and white wire back there, yeah, I just covered up what I had. Used a little bit of electrical tape, and then we'll wrap that back up and put it away. Alright guys, so we put the screws back in. We made sure the wires were tucked back out of the way. But yeah, first time the windshield's been down, and you'll see my new limerizers. So those are kind of cool. But let's flip this back around. So that goes right there. Windshield comes back up into position there. 4 bolts, put the windshield wipers back on. All right, visor opens and closes. That's in the way. All right, it comes on. So when we get everything wired up to our panel, we'll go from there. So if you had all these different lights, you can hit the middle on and off. All right, guys, that's the AUXBEAM. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. As we install the AUXBEAM, we started over at the battery. We installed our box, connected that to the battery along with the circuit breaker. We ran the wires all the way along the top of the hood here underneath where the factory wiring is. We folded the windshield forward, we ran it up here, and then we conveniently located the controller right here in the driver's control area. If you would, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, ring the bell so you get the notifications, as well as feel free to interact with us. Leave a comment below, interact with us on Facebook, or you can follow us on TikTok. I post a few videos there too. But if you would, join us on this ride. You guys get to come along for the ride, watch me build my dream, but the true purpose of this channel is to inform, motivate, and inspire you to get out there and start building your dreams.